Hello and welcome to my weekly recap for week 10 of The Artist's Way. Yes, I look, oh, excuse the mess on my desk. Yes, I am in the exact same location, outfit, everything as week 9, and that's because I'm recording it in week 12 because, yeah, I procrastinated recording the actual updates. But I think it's actually been good to recap, on the past 3 weeks of it, now that I'm in the last week of it. But yeah, this week, on the Monday I got back from ADF, and then that week I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off from dance. Then Friday I went up to the sunny coast for a dance comp. And I was there until Sunday, and I drove home Sunday. But that's why I also didn't film the end of weekend weekly recap, because I got home like Sunday afternoon. Actually, I'm kind of making excuses to myself because, yeah, I could have. I think what happens is that the weeks when I don't get all the tasks done, I want to try and finish the task before I film like the recap, but then I just don't ever get around to doing either of them, because then I'm in the next week and then, you know, like it just accumulates. But I'm learning to let go of that. I know I should, but I'm trying to. But yeah, so did I do my morning pages every week? Yeah, every day. Yes, I did do them every day. Did I do an artist date? I did have an artist date-ish, but it was more just kind of like time by myself to like think. I'll show you. I went to the beach by myself, and a beach near my house, which I realized I really love the southern Gold Coast beaches, like from Burleigh to Snapper Rocks is like any of those beaches. Like I love, like, yeah, I could go on all about that. But there is a beach like 10 minutes from my house. Well, because I live on like the Broadwater. What if I can show it on a map? Actually, it might make a bit more sense. But it's like, I can kind of show it. But like the beach is like here, and then the land like wraps around like that. So there's a waterway like here, but my house is here, but the beach is here. So I don't get an actual beach near my house, but I live like a block away from water, if that makes sense. But all I have to do is just like drive down and around, and it's from like 10 minutes away. But I've like always wanted this like South Beaches and wished I lived there, but I've never actually taken for granted how nice the beach is near my house. So yeah, I went and I did that, and I took a photo, and it was really pretty. It was actually really, really pretty. If I can find the photo, and I can't now, of course, but I wanted to show it because, yeah, it was really pretty. Yeah, I can't find it. Actually, I think I took a photo on my camera, which is why I can't find it, but that's okay. But yeah, so I just had like a beach day by myself, and I spent like a day in the sun, and then I went for like a beach walk, and I just like went adventuring-ish kind of. I think this was the week I was like driving back from somewhere, and then I wanted to look at houses, so I went for a drive and had a look for houses, which is kind of like an artist date. But I just have never in the whole 12 weeks have I actually planned and set aside time to take myself out to do something creative. I've done stuff in my backyard because I was scared of going on an artist date alone. And I think I still am, but I tell myself, oh, I'm not, and I just go to the beach and have a beach day and call that my artist day. But, you know, it's actually like not, like I'm not going, like it is, but it's not like what I wanted to do, like go and look at an art exhibition by myself, or go to take a pottery class, like try new things, and, you know, yeah, I don't know. I'm not actually like intentionally doing anything creative. Like I do somewhat creative things when I go to the beach, but it's like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, so kind of an artist date, but like honestly no, because I didn't actually plan one. And I've just realized I haven't been honest with myself, because in my other weekly updates I'm like, yeah, I did do an artist date, I just went to the beach, but it's not an artist date. you know, like I didn't intend for it to be an artist day. I just got to the end of the weekend and I was like, oh, what time have I spent alone with myself? Oh yeah, that can be my artist date. So yeah, anyways, but this was a good week. That was my kind of recap from that. I usually try to do that at the end after I read through my favorite things from the chapter, but anyways, that's okay. I can do it then. Week 10 was recovering a sense of protection. We explored the perils that can ambush us on our creative path, because creativity is a spiritual issue. Because creativity is a spiritual issue, many of the perils are spiritual perils. In the essays, tasks, and exercises this week, we search out the toxic patterns we cling to block our creative flow. Dangers of the trail, it talks about creativity is God energy flowing through us. When we are clear about who we are and what we're doing, energy flows freely. Each of us favors one or two ways, particularly toxic to us because they block us so effectively. That's crazy. That's crazy. Each of us favors one or two ways particularly toxic to us because they block us so effectively. For some people, food is a creativity issue. And I think that's one of mine. Eating sugars or fats or certain carbohydrates may leave them feeling dulled, hungover, unable to focus, blurry. They use food to block energy and change. And I did that week. And I was reading it and I was like gagged. I was like... And yeah. Like me, as soon as like... And I didn't even realize I was doing it. But for me and my body, I've learnt... When like 75 hard was like a trend and it was trending, I did it like 2 years ago. Oh, 2 years ago, that's crazy. It was like 2023, maybe 2024, can't remember. Like summer, end of 2023 is when I started it. And for the diet area, I did no processed sugar, and I learnt that sugar actually doesn't work very well for my body personally. Some people, like everyone's different, but for me, sugar doesn't, I don't feel sits right with me. And I realized that like when I have sugar, I have lots of mood highs and lows. Like if anyone knows anything about human design, you know what I'm talking about when I say that I have an emotional authority. So that means I have an emotional wave, and when I have sugar, they're like extreme or more extreme than what they usually are. But when I don't have sugar, they're more smooth, and I can recognize easier when I'm in the height of the wave or the low of the wave and know how to like regulate myself. But when I have sugar, I don't know how to do that. And I also feel, as it's saying, I feel like blurry and less focused and like more groggy kind of, and I feel more tired. Also, again, talking about human design again, I'm a projector, and projectors don't work as well having sugar because we don't have the energy to break down the those complex, is sugar a carbohydrate? I think so, I don't know, whatever, like, it's a complex, like, oh, what's the word, I haven't done science for a year, I'm gonna say complex carbohydrate. Yeah, we don't have the energy to break it down like maybe a generator does, or a manifesting generator does. So yeah, I feel more tired when I have energy. And then I realized every time I've gone, oh, like I get home from dance and then I'm like, oh, okay, I organize my stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna edit some YouTube, or I'm gonna have a scroll on Pinterest and make a collage, or I'm like, oh, actually I want to do this. I'm like, something in me, I'm like, oh wait, I'm hungry, let me have a snack first. And most of the time when it's something creative, I tend to lean for bread, pasta, and sometimes sugar. And that's why, because it's actually a block, because I'm like, oh wait, actually no, I don't want to be creative, or I'm like scared of, I don't know what, I haven't gotten that deep into it, but you know. So that was crazy, and I was, yeah, that was crazy, because what, like, anyways, I thought that was crazy. Oh yeah, this is literally it. We begin to sense our real potential in the wide range of possibilities open up to us. That scares us, so we all reach for blocks to slow our growth. If we are honest with ourselves, we all know which blocks are the toxic ones for us. And the clue is, this is the block we defend as our right. And as I was reading that, I was like, well, what if I actually am hungry and have to eat? Like if I get home from dance and I am hungry, I need something filling, like carbohydrates. But that's maybe just myself making an excuse. I don't know. Maybe I actually do, but I don't know. Anyways, it's saying we turn to our drug of choice to block our creativity whenever we experience anxiety of our inner emptiness. I was like, whoa, that's a bit deep. Usually we experience a choice to block as a coincidence. She happened to call, I felt hungry and there was some ice cream, etc. So, yeah. And then blocking is essentially an issue of faith. Rather than trust our intuition, our talent, our skill, our desire, we fear our creator, where our creator is taking us. Then as we become aware of our blocking devices, food, etc., over time we will try, perhaps slowly at first and erratically, to ride out the anxiety. Feel anxious, try using the anxiety. Feel, I just did it, I didn't block, I used the anxiety, moved ahead. Oh my god, I'm so excited. That's what it said. And then it talks about workaholism, and I felt called out again, apparently. I've read it in the book. In creative recovery, it is far easier to get people to do the extra work of the morning pages than it is to get them to do the assigned play of an artist date. Yeah, so I felt very called out. Play can make a workaholic very nervous. Fun is scary, and it's so true. I find it so easier to just write and do the pages because it's not play. I'm just emptying out my mind. Yeah, and then there's a workaholism quiz, and you have to answer like seldom, often, never to each of them. Like, I work outside of office hours, I cancel dates with loved ones to do more work, I postponed outings until the deadline is over, etc, etc. And there's like 20 questions. In order to recover our creativity, we must learn to see workaholism as a block instead of a building block. Yeah, I feel I definitely have a bit of workaholism, or at least not very good boundaries with it, so I need to establish that with myself. It said we depend on our addiction and we resent it, which I thought was interesting. Because workaholism is a process addiction, and addiction to a behavior rather than a substance, it's difficult to tell when we are indulging in it. An alcoholic gets sober by abstaining from alcohol. A workaholic gets sober by abstaining from overwork. The trick is to define overwork, and this is where we often lie to ourselves. That's kind of what I was saying. Like, I needed to have the boundaries for myself. Yeah, if you really have no time, you need to make some room. It is more likely, however, that you have the time and are misspending it, which is actually kind of crazy because there's 24 hours in a day. So what really are you doing in your day if you don't have time for something? And what are you spending the time that you could be doing that thing, doing something else? And do you really want to be doing that other thing truly, like more than the thing you actually want to do? Oh, I don't know if any of that wording makes sense, but it made sense in my head, so you know, whatever. We had to do boundaries and set bottom lines. Workaholism is a block, not a building block. I highlighted that again. Drought, it talks about drought. In any creative life, there are dry seasons. These droughts appear from nowhere and stretch to the horizon like a Death Valley vista. During a drought, the morning pages seem both painful and foolish. During a drought, emotions are dried up. Like water, they may exist somewhere underneath, but we have no access to them. When you are in a drought, know that it is to a purpose, and keep writing those morning pages. The droughts are a necessity. The time in the desert brings us clarity and charity. Then it talked about fame. Fame encourages us to believe that if it hasn't happened yet, it won't happen. Of course, it is fame. Fame is not the same as success, which I had to take a look at for myself because I tie the two very closely together personally. The point of the work is the work. Fame interferes with that perception because I think fame is about the outcome. It's not about the work, you know. In the long run, fan letters from ourselves and our creative self are what we are really after. The only cure for the fame drug is creative endeavor. Only when we are being joyfully creative can we release the obsession with others and how they are doing. Yeah, it was like talking about sending postcards to yourself, like getting fame from yourself, because you truly, like, you can't control fame. It's everyone else. You have no control of it whatsoever. Yes, there may be hints and you may have, like, know what to do to have fame, but at the end of the day, you can't control it, really. So the only way you can be fully satisfied with it is if you treat yourself with the fame, I guess, or like with the, like, love that fame would treat you with as well, is my understanding of it. They talked about competition, how competition is another spiritual drug. And we ask ourselves the wrong questions, and those wrong questions give us the wrong answers. Like, why do I have such rotten luck? What do I have to offer? What's the use, etc. We often ask these questions as we try to talk ourselves out of creating. Questions like these allow us to ignore the useful questions, such as, did I work on my play today? Did I make the deadline to mail it off to where it needed to go? Have I done my networking on its behalf, etc. Competition lies at the root of much creative blockage. It says, if it is too early or late for a piece of work, its time will come again. The desire to be better than can choke off the simple desire to be. I really like that quote. Whenever you are angered about someone else beating you out, remember this. It is a foot race mentality. Well, the foot race mentality is always the ego's demand to be not just good, but also first and best. No man is an island and no piece of art is a continent unto itself. When we respond to art, we're responding to its resonance in our terms of our own experience. We forget that not all babies are born beautiful, and so we abort the lives of awkward or unseemly projects that may be our finest work. Our best creative ugly ducklings. An act of art needs its time to mature. Judged early, it may be judged incorrectly. I really like that comparison, actually, because if you're talking about, you know, like an idea, like it is born, like it is created, like it actually does need time to mature. Yeah, and I wrote, how can I give my ego healthy instant gratification? Because that's what the ego wants. It wants instant gratification. That's the ego. The ego isn't interested in the long run. So if you can find a way to give it the healthy gratification, then you can keep going to get the long-term benefits too, I figure. Tasks. Did I do the tasks this week? I did a few. I didn't do the first task, which was to do deadlines. Oh, I was confused about this one. Deadlines. Take a piece of paper and cut 7 small strips from it. On each strip, write one of the following, like those sections, and then draw the deadlines and write 5 ways it has a negative impact. But I didn't understand that. Touchstones. Make a quick list of things you love. Mine were pasta, shells, silk, frangipani flowers, the sea breeze, the beach, mango, sushi, dark chocolate, my jelly cat, and fresh socks. The awful truth, and we had to answer the following questions, but I'm not going to read those out. And then setting a bottom line, working with your answer to the questions above, try setting a bottom line for yourself, and begin with 5 of your most painful behaviors. And then cherishing, and then we had to list 5 small victories, 3 nurturing actions you took for your artist, 3 actions you could take to comfort your artist, and then make 3 nice promises to yourself, keep them. I keep coughing, I need water. And then do 1 lovely thing for yourself each day this week. I wrote them, but I don't think I actually did the action of the cherishing, which is a bit of a shame. yeah, so then for the check-in, I did my morning pages each week. I kind of did an artist date, but it wasn't intentional and wasn't planned. And did I experience any synchronicity that week? That's a good question. Can't think of any specifically, but yeah, nothing that I could think of specifically. But yeah, that's the update for week 10. All done. Yeah. Okay, bye.